Witness as I review the next book in the Malazan Empire.
I'm seeing spots now. Or my glass is just dirty. My glasses are pretty dirty, but I am seeing spots. Just a moment, guys. Just a moment, book bros. I'll be back. Hang on. Oh, all right. We're back. We're going to be talking about House of Chains, Book 4 of Malazan, Book of the Fallen. Oh, I forgot to say, hello, book bros. It's nice to see you back again. After putting down the threat of the Panian Doman in Book 3, Stephen Erickson takes the opportunity to take us back to where Book 2 left off and carry on with the story that was being told there. Because you know Malazan, they got a bunch of different plots going on at once that take place on different continents. It's a thing, alright? Deal with it. You know, we all know on this channel I wasn't a huge fan of Deadhouse Gates, but I was hopeful for where the story would go because I was like, you know, Deadhouse Gates, it ended nice. It had a great ending. I was excited for this book. And boy, did it almost deliver. Let's just talk about the plot for a bit. House of Chains starts wildly different than any other Malazan book I've read. And you know why? Because it stays with one viewpoint for, you know, the first little bit. Let's see. Let's check it. Check it! For the first 263 pages of my copy, we are reading from one perspective. That is unprecedented for a Malazan book. And I've read many times from many different people that all say the same thing. Stephen Erickson wrote the first part of this book all in one perspective to prove to critics that he can do that. Critics would say, oh, he can't see just because he can't flesh out one character. Stephen Erickson was like, oh, can't flesh out one character? Karsa Orlong, baby. Oh, I love Karsa Orlong. And I know the Malazan community is very divided on Karsa. You either love him or you hate him. Personally, right now, having read this book, I like Karsa. After the introduction to Karsa, Erickson brings us back to where Deadhouse Gates left off. We're brought back into the rebellion and the Malazan, you know, the struggle between the two. And I really liked where this book picked up. It picked up in a very reasonable spot with all of our characters, you know. Fiddler's doing his thing, Kalam's doing his thing. The army is going, you know, gonna go and get they're gonna crush the rebellion. That's the main push of this plot. Alright, so the main push of House of Chains, the struggle between the two armies, I found was the least interesting part of this book. I found the plots with Cutter and Apsalar, the plot with Onrak and Trull, I found them to be more interesting. Karsa was, you know, I liked everything that was happening with Karsa as well, but the best part of this plot was anytime Erickson was working to tie in what was happening with books 1 and 3 into books 2 and 4. That was a really wordy sentence, I'm sorry. Anytime that Erickson was trying to tie his plots together, because yes, the Panian Doman still feels like this kind of sidetrack compared to what's happening here. But it's really interesting because I liked what's happening over there on Genebacus more than what's happening here, right? So far, the plot feels disconnected, and I think that's how it's supposed to feel at this point. I'm not supposed to fully understand things at the point I'm reading here. However, I'm having less and less of those moments where I'm like, what is going on, guys? I have no idea what this is about. There are still moments where I'm like, come on, I want to understand this, but I don't. And that can be frustrating when you're at book 4 of a series and you're still not getting everything you think you should be. This book is a lot of build up, and the ending just feels like a wet fart. And that is so unnatural for a Malazan book that I was shocked. I was shocked to reach the end and not feel satisfied. Because Deadhouse Gates is a good example of this. I can read a Malazan book, not feel satisfied throughout it, and then have the ending completely turn my views on that book around. Plot-wise, I think House of Chains didn't deliver. It didn't deliver for me. It delivered on moments, and there are cool moments in this book, but it didn't deliver overall for me, personally. You can have your own opinion, but my opinion is House of Chains didn't deliver. Let's get into characters. Karsa's just a hulking mass. He kills for sport. He just doesn't care about human life. Doesn't care. And then Steven Erikson takes him and he goes, "Oh, come on, come here, Karsa. Come here." Apa, 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 apa. Slaps him a couple times, and Karsa becomes this mature Malazan figure. Karsa is definitely one of the best parts of this book, not gonna lie. Kalam, wow, what a step down from Deadhouse Gates. I barely remember anything that happens with Kalam in this book. I remember something to do with Cave and some soldiers, but overall, what? Come on, he's compared to the moments that Kalam gets in Deadhouse Gates, he falls by the wayside here. I'm hoping Kalam gets some really cool moments later, because I was let down by where his story took him in this one. Because Fiddler is wrapped up in the main push, the battle between the two armies, I liked some of his moments, some of the character moments he has. But for the most part, again, he just falls by the wayside. He's a character I loved in book 2, but here I almost couldn't stand reading from his viewpoints because it was all military action. You know, organic isn't what I'd use to describe most Malazan relationships. I'd describe Mappo and Akarium as an organic relationship, Quick Ben and Kalam as organic, but Troll and Onrag, they have like an organic growth of friendship. They don't trust each other to begin with, and then by the end of the book, they're kind of brothers. And I liked watching that develop. I liked watching Onrag become more warm and open to Troll and his humor. The world! I've been overwhelmingly positive about Malazan in my last 2 videos, but it's here I'm going to say Malazan feels like it's bloated just for the sake of being bloated. It doesn't feel like it has to be this difficult to read, but it is. And you know what? There's a part of me that respects the series for that. There's a part of me that respects being hard to read. But there's also a part of me that goes, you want people to read your series, right? When you write a book, you want people to read it. So what's the point of writing it bloated for the sake of just being bloated, right? There's a large part of me that loves Malazan, but there is a small part of me that loathes Malazan, simply because when I'm reading a Malazan book, I have to have razor sharp focus. When I'm reading a Malazan book, it takes me almost a month to finish one book. When I'm reading a Malazan book, I have to second guess every piece of information that I think I know, because it might be wrong. Plot-wise, I think House of Chains is just mediocre, with an ending that doesn't live up to what I've seen in Malazan books. Character-wise, we get some new, super interesting characters, but it comes to the cost of the characters we know being kind of shoved to the wayside, except for Apsalar and Cutter, who have a stellar plot in this book. And world building, it's Malazan, what can I say? There's a lot of it, and I don't understand a whole bunch of it. And that has been my review of House of Chains. And you know what, if you're still here, thank you for sticking around and watching to the end of this video. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you, Book Bros. With all that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day, Book Bros, and I will catch you on the next video.